What's up, friends? I'm Aaron Ciotti. Everybody calls me Ciotti. That was some of Pride Atlanta yesterday. What an absolutely incredible event. Some of the most fun I've had all year. Man, I'm such a dummy for not having gone to Prides in the past. It was just so cool. So cool to have that many kind, loving human beings in one spot. Yeah, what a treat, man. And I got to fly it, which is even more of a trip. Like, it's one thing to watch it from the ground, but to get to see it from the sky and to, you know, give Atlanta Pride a bunch of this footage for them to chop up. And they've already done one edit. Their editor stayed up overnight and knocked out a quick 60-second edit, which just has a ton of this footage in it. It's just, like, so cool. And then, yeah, they're going to be working on a much longer edit with a ton more of my footage, which was, yeah, just super cool. Get out there and volunteer for stuff, my friends. It will open doors for you. It will feel great, and you'll meet some of the coolest people that you're going to meet in life. Some of my best lifelong friends have been from volunteering opportunities at shelters and, you know, animal shelters and just random stuff over the years. So yeah, do it. You'll feel great afterwards, I promise. Tonight we're going to get a little bit more work done on the Grinderino. We've got you guys can check out my mailbag as always, not as always, sometimes. And it's a Q&A live stream, as they all are. Fill the chat up with any questions that you've got, and we'll talk through them. And I'll give you a proper answer rather than a 20-word answer that just barely gets you started. I've titled the stream Never Finishing the Grinderino because this is the point in the build where it feels like it's never going to get done. Yeah, kind of a tradition around here to never finish builds at this point. In the chat, FPV Flyer was first, Frank Nicholas was next, Hockey Rounds McBucas, CBFPV, Danzilla, Terrible Sky Blender, Douglas Otwell, Metal Dirtskin, CMYK, RT McKinney, Freelojo, FP Avery, Bob Bruce, Brandon's McBean, 661 FPV, Kilo Foxtrot Josh, Razzie B Productions. We've got some Bob Noxious is in the house. Denzel the Terrible CMYK, Safe Zone FPV. Who else is here? Whack FPV. YouTube did the thing. I'm sure I missed some people. Thanks for coming, friends. If you want to talk directly to me in the chat, all you got to do is type CiottiFPV. If you do that, it'll light up an orange like this, and I'll see it, and I'll read your chat comment. Otherwise, I'll respect your privacy in case, you know, you're talking smack. I don't want to see it. I don't want to know about it. Shirt of the day! Skyblender says, evening gangly gang, CiottiFPV. I learned how to make an egg roll this weekend. It's easy. You just push it. Okay. You just push it. What? CMYKFPV says, what's up, gangly gang? It's CiottiFPV. Dropping the CiottiFPV.com link. Thank you, dude. That's how you can support me. Over there on my website, there's a link to my Discord. That's what helps me the absolute most. A couple of links to Etsy and Teespring where you can buy some stuff. Over on Fiverr, you can work one-on-one with me. I've got almost 8 years of experience doing this, and I've paid attention the entire time. So I can help you not buy the garbage parts. I can help you fly better. I can help you tune better. All the good things. And then there's a whole bunch of affiliate links. If you're ever doing an order on the internet, you're going to want to use an affiliate link because someone is relying on you to do that, to keep making content for you to watch for free on YouTube. So yeah, try it. RT McKinney says, hello, gangly gang, CiottiFPV. Razzie B Production says, hello, gangly guy, dude, bro. YouTube did the thing yet again. Bob Noxious says, nice surprise in my mailbox. Thanks, brother. Yeah, all of you that have won things or just bought things from me over the last God knows how long, you should have them within the next few days. I shipped out everything. I should be completely caught up now. Just in time for... Nah, we got half a month before the next giveaway to back me up on stuff. Again, if you have not... If over the course of this week you do not receive the thing that you're waiting for from me, do me a huge favor and just shoot me a message. Don't feel like you're bugging me. It's my bad for not having sent it the very next day. Yeah, I'll never get mad at you guys for bugging me. Just let me know. I just get... Yeah, there's a lot of stuff, and it's hard to keep track of it all. And, yeah, I would much rather you bug the shit out of me than not bug me and get silently frustrated. So, yeah, bug me, yo. RT McKinney says, thanks for my 49th and 50th Fly Tribe sticker. Skyblender says, dad joke. Where's the dad joke? I need the dad joke. I don't see that. Maybe I made a dad joke. Freelojo dropping the Patreon link. Thank you, dude. And look at that. I'm all caught up. Awesome. So Pride Atlanta 2023 was this weekend. And so their Instagram, which has tons of followers and action, and I'm sure gets just bombarded with messages. They put a post up about Pride coming up, I don't know, 2 weeks ago. And I just blindly sent them a message and just said, I don't know. They just, it wasn't even like looking for photographers or anything like that. They just put a post up about it, and I was like, Jesus, that's coming up, and I'm free that weekend. So I just straight sent him a quick Instagram message, which is something that I've done a lot. Back in my sales days, we basically called this cold calling. And it typically doesn't work, and I typically don't do it anymore. Um, it's yeah, it just so Instagram, when you have a big account on Instagram, you get hammered with messages. Even when you have a small account like me, you get hammered with messages. And Instagram tends to like kind of sort them, and they put the people that you're not friends with into a separate folder, which most people forget about. So yeah, it usually doesn't work. I've tried it countless times with businesses that I think that would benefit from FPV footage and stuff like that. I've been as creative as I can over the years, and almost never do I get a reply if it's an account of any significant size. I would say over, I don't know, 5 to 10,000 subscribers. You're just not going to hear back from them. So I stopped. I just stopped trying a long time ago, actually. And unless I have like unless there's someone that I can talk to that knows someone over there, or some sort of a inside connection like that, I just don't bother anymore. And this was my reminder to not be like that anymore, and to take the 15 seconds that it takes to send a message regardless. It just does not take much time. Like, one of the reasons I stopped doing it, and this is one of the things I really hated about sales and especially companies that participated in cold calling, is that you do a bunch of it, and then like, yeah, okay, it only takes 10, 15, 20 seconds per, but you do it a lot and it really adds up, and it ends up taking a lot of time, and you get very little return on it. And the other thing is, like, you kind of get your hopes up. Like, you're not just, well, I mean, back then we were reaching out to everyone, but like for me, I was a little bit more targeted with it, and I would reach out to, spots that like I wanted to work for, I wanted to be involved with. And so when you don't hear back from them, it's like, oh man. And then, the 100th time that happens, you're just like, fuck this, I'm never doing this again, right? Because, male brain. And so this was my reminder to not be like that, and to just take every once in a while. Let's clarify that, right? Like, this is not something I'm gonna do every single day. But yeah, if you have if you're in a headspace where you can stand it, where you can handle it, right? You should do it. This opened up some doors for me. The person that I ended up getting connected with at Pride actually works for Warner Brothers here locally, and was just absolutely blown away by my work, and just, yeah, my being. Like, we talked on the phone a couple times, and yeah, he's just like, he's been looking for a drone pilot, and he just digs my style, and like what I care about and stuff like that really matters. So yeah, I'm super lucky to have gotten connected with this person, and I actually got paid on Saturday. So Sunday is a full volunteer day. But Saturday, where they had a lot of musicians, they had live concerts at 2 gigantic stages at Piedmont Park. They had budget for Saturday, because it's not a volunteer specific day. And so I actually got paid to fly on Saturday at their concert, and I didn't play any of that footage, but I have a ton of that. I haven't cut any of that footage down. So what you guys saw in the intro there was about 46, 45. That was like the highlights of the first 2 batteries that I flew at the actual parade. There are 6 more batteries. And then on Saturday at the concert, I flew another 8 batteries at both stages, and some kind of just farting around B-roll stuff. and yeah, got it all over to them, and they were just like blown away by it. So they're yeah, they're thrilled, and I can't wait to see what their editors do with some of the footage. If you look on Atlanta Pride's Instagram channel, there's a 60-second quick little reel that's got a bunch of my stuff in it that was really well done. So yeah, I'm glad that they've got some editors in the building there that as if there's a building. I'm sure everybody works from home, but I'm glad they've got some editors that know how to edit in FPV footage in a way that's not jarring. That's something that I run into a lot. Like FPV footage is just so different from static camera footage that and like we're now at a point where most people have seen FPV footage before, so it's not like this just like, oh my god, thing anymore. So now it needs to be more tastefully and more like logically edited in, or it just looks awkward and it just like kind of takes you out of it, right? Like that's kind of the point of editing, is to draw people in. And a lot of times when the horizon starts wobbling all over the damn place in just that one clip, it's like, what the hell is this nonsense? So I always make sure that I send both the raw files and Real Steady Go to horizon locked files, so that they can pick. And yeah, their editor did a great job, and I can't wait to see the full edit that's going to be done, I think by this Friday, my contact DJ said. So yeah, that'll be super cool. And then I'm working on my own edit here, just because this, yeah, it was just such a fun event, and I'm so happy with the footage. I'm at the moment, as you may have noticed, it's 1x1 square. I just have my sequence settings cropping it. I can just change the sequence settings and it'll go to 16:9. But for right now, I'm cutting. I've never done this before. I'm cutting it down in 1x1, kind of prioritizing Instagram, and then I'm gonna kick out a 16:9 edit for YouTube. But yeah, the majority of this is kind of for Instagram. So I'm going to keep going on this 1x1 thing, and then I'm going to export it out like that and put it up as, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know if I'm going to do just a regular old post or a reel. Reels tend to get, I think I'm going to end up putting it up as a, maybe both, maybe because I do have a couple of different edits planned. So what I'll probably do is try it either way. Try a reel, try a regular post, see how they do. I'm sure the reel is going to do better. But yeah, that'll be neat. But yeah, I do have like at least two, maybe 3 or 4 different sort of edits planned, just because there's so much footage, and there's a couple of songs that I do want to use. So yeah, this is fun. This is, usually I hate editing, to be totally honest, but I've been having a blast looking through this footage, and it's, when like I'm so burned. The problem is I'm very burned out on editing. I've just done so much editing over the last 20 years, really, that just the process and the amount of time that it takes, and just like sitting here stationary, like locked down, like not being able to move around, and it just drives me insane. But editing something that you really care about is different, and it like, I just forget about. Yeah, I was just having a blast last night chopping this footage up, and a little bit today too. So hopefully that continues. I don't know. There's a chance that the other shoe will drop and I'll start to get frustrated, which sometimes happens. But at the moment, I'm having a blast editing this down and chopping it up. So we'll see. And there are a lot of important groups of wonderful human beings that are in this parade, and to bring any kind of visibility to what they're doing, be that trans rights or you know, to write Love in Her Arms, dealing with suicide, just, you know, an entire parade filled with people that give a shit about equality and making the world a better place, um, is pretty damn cool. And it's something that I'm very lucky to have been a part of. So yeah, thanks to Atlanta Pride for letting me do this. I had to get they paid for it, but I had to get a month of insurance. I wish I could get. I wish they would do day. They used to do day. You could get like a day of insurance. Now they'll only do a month. But Atlanta Pride paid for it, and then that was about it. Everything else I was good to go on. I'm all set up with Skywatch. I buy a month for whatever gig that needs it, and then I just let it run out. And then next time a gig wants it or needs it or is willing to pay for it, I'll get it again and pick it up for another month. $62 a month. So I mean, it's expensive, but I just make them pay for it. Like, that's, you know, you want to work with me, you got to pay $62 for $1 million in insurance. You probably want to do that anyway. So kind of is what it is. At the concert on Saturday, I had an interesting run-in. So I flew 7 batteries, totally fine. I set up like towards the back. It was huge. It was in Piedmont Park, absolutely massive. I set up probably, I don't know, 1,000 feet, maybe 2,000 feet away from the main stage. Just because that was like a nice spot that was up on a little hill. It was easy to see. There was like a very specific tree, so it would be easy for me to see where I was to come home. And it also allowed me to kind of jump up and skim the treetops and then have a nice line on the stage. It was also a nice spot with just perfect line of sight to like everywhere that I wanted to fly. It was weird being so far away. I don't love being that far away because, like, God forbid I miss a battery voltage readout. Not being able to make it all the way back to yourself sucks, and have to go to chase. But I just paid a little bit closer attention to the battery voltage to make sure that didn't happen. And so I set up there, all was cool, flew 2 batteries, moved over to this, no, I guess I flew 4 there. Wait, no. I don't know. I flew 2 or 3 there. I think 3. Whatever, it doesn't matter. And then I went to the smaller stage. I flew a few there, and then I went back to the main stage. I timed it so that it was like right before golden hour when I flew the main stage was the priority. And so I flew like right into golden hour at the main stage initially to give them some like sort of broad daylight stuff. And then by the time I got back to the main stage, because everything was separated out so super far and I had to walk all the way across the park, the light had come down like really nice to give them like something like nighttime footage. They can probably darken it up enough in post for it to look like it was, and a lot of the bigger performers were at the end, right? But I didn't want to fly in the darkness. And so it worked out really nice. The very last battery that I flew, actually, so when I came back to the main stage, I set up a little bit closer. I was still a few hundred feet away from the stage, off on the side, but again, I picked a spot where I'd be able to find my way home and all that good stuff. And so I flew, I don't know, 3 or 4 batteries there. And at the end of the 4th, so at the smaller stage, so like as I was flying, somebody said, "Bring that drone down. You can't fly that here." And I just said, "My credentials are around my neck." And they said, "Oh, okay, cool, thanks." Well, at the main stage, right towards the end, I had like maybe a minute left on the very last battery. I hear a much more forceful voice, "Sir, bring that down," blah, 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 like coming in hot. And it was, of course, a cop. And he was a total dick at first. Like, he just, I'm still in the air, like, trying to find my way home. And he's like, "I'm going to send your info to the FAA, and they're going to have words with you." Blah, 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 blah. Like, just total douchebag cop. I'm like, great, here we fucking go. And I told him the same thing. I'm like, "My credentials are around my neck. They hired me to fly this." And he's like, "No, they didn't." And, you know, all the cop shit, all the douchebag cop shit, right? And I bring it down, and like as calmly as I possibly can, I'm like, "Sir, you know, don't want to be disrespectful here, but this is and you know, he's going into like, you're not allowed to fly over crowds, and but all the nonsense, like uneducated cop stuff, right? Although he actually knew a little bit more. As we talked more, I realized that he knew more than most. And I just stayed as calm as I possibly could. I was like, you know, I'm not trying to talk down to you here, but look, this is my full-time job. I would not risk it for anything. Here are the rules. Because he just had a bunch of stuff wrong, and I explained Part 107, and I explained Sub 250, Category 3, I walked through the whole thing, you know, all my contacts, everything, and he eventually, like, started to actually listen and chill the fuck out, but it was, and like, what was really annoying is that, like, he was... And like I'm kind of torn here because like on one hand I have a feeling maybe that they've had to tell people all day long flying Mavics to bring them down, but like it was just way too, you know, I mean, look, you guys know how cops are, right? And like it was the same shit when you get pulled over going 11 over the speed limit, right? Like, I'm a criminal, I'm going to jail, they're going to just rail me as hard as they possibly can on everything. And like it was really, really annoying and frustrating, but at the same time, like I'm trying I try to be as understanding as I possibly can, and you know, it's a festival. It's Pride, which is a festival that's different. It's way more chill. It's just one huge group of cool people. Sure, you smell weed every so often, but it's not constant like most festivals. Although I'm sure that there's plenty of ecstasy floating around and other stuff, right? Because it's Pride, baby. But yeah, so I don't know. On one hand, I was really pissed that he was just, you know, the thing that they do where they just lie, right? And they lie in a way that, like, unless you really know the laws, you're just gonna be like, oh, okay. And like he was doing that, and that's what like really, really, really bothered me. But I don't know. They have a hard job, I guess. I don't know. I hate cops. Like I've had a couple of I've actually had a bunch of friends that are law enforcement officers over the years, especially back when I was into airsoft, and they all hated most cops. So I don't really feel bad hating cops because a lot of them are total garbage. And sorry, but like that's an experience that has been echoed from actual police officers that I've been friends with, right? So it's like I don't feel bad saying that per se. They certainly aren't all awful, but unfortunately a lot of them are. It was very obvious that, you know, many of them were beat up in school. And so it's a shame, man, because there are a lot of great police officers, and it just gives them such a bad name, right? And like you have one bad experience and you're like, well, fuck it, they're all awful. And, you know, I think, unfortunately, in saying that, the percentages are in your favor that you're like, you know, more than 50%. But we won't dwell on that too much. So that was interesting. Kind of a shitty way to end Saturday, but I ended up getting, I made it a point to just get away from him as quick as possible, and to talk to the back. Basically what happened was there was a group that was handling backstage security, and then there was a group that was handling the rest of the site security. And the rest of the site security is who we were working with to get FAA clearances and to get my photographer pass and all that stuff. And they just didn't communicate with the separate group that was backstage security. So backstage security didn't know that there was going to be a sanctioned or whatever the hell drone in the air. So they're the ones that freaked out. But of course, once they talked to front of house security, they were like, oh, okay, great. So I made it a point to get the hell away from this jackass and introduce myself to all of the backstage security, because I want to work together. Like I want to work with them, and they were all amazing, and they were just so happy, and like they kept introducing me to more and more people, and they were like super apologetic, and it ended up like to be honest, I turned it into a good situation. Like, it could have been a shitty situation. I could have acted like an asshole and, you know, railed this cop on everything that he was wrong about and made him look like a dick in front of everybody, but I chose not to, and I'm glad that I did, because, you know, they make the law, and they'll just do, you know, they'll plant shit, they'll do whatever the hell they want to not be wrong, because God forbid you're ever wrong. So yeah, I'm glad that it didn't go that way. But that was interesting. That was kind of disappointing, but at the same time, like, I don't know. Trying my best to give them the benefit of the doubt. It's just the thing that bothers me so much is the lying. Like, the cops lying thing. Like, oh my God, it's just so bad. It's so gross. It's so crooked. And, you know, it like, oh, it drives me nuts. It really, really, really drives me crazy. But hey, we live in a police state, you know, like, it is what it is. This is, other than that, what an incredible event. And even with that, you know, it was still an incredible event. There was just a 20-30 minute period that was really shitty and scary, and it's scary, right? Because we've all seen the news stories. I don't have to dive into that. Curtis Hayes says, did you fly a single whoop or bring multiple? What did you bring? I brought a bunch. You know, whenever you're doing like sort of a professional gig, you want to have your main and a backup, and then ideally like a third. So yeah, I brought a bunch, and everything worked perfect. All was well. And yeah, it's just a blast, and the footage came out really, really, really well. So I can't wait to get this chopped up and put it up on the Instagram and YouTube for everybody to see. And like, so I put the one somewhat well, hold no, I can't play it because it's got there's an Instagram story with not me just pointing the iPhone at my monitor, and I sent that to DJ, my main point of contact, and I shot him a text message. I was like, hey, you're gonna want to check my stories, you're gonna lose your mind. And like 2 minutes later, my phone rings and he's calling me. I pick up the phone. He's like, so when am I taking you out to dinner? I just start laughing. He's like, this is incredible. Like, he was just freaking out. Like, this is so cool, and this is exactly what I was looking for. When we first talked, he said one of the funniest things that I've ever heard. He's like, I've worked with a bunch of drone pilots in Atlanta, and all they keep giving me is surveillance footage. I was like, oh, that is cold. And then, you know, of course, yesterday I was joking. I'm like, no surveillance footage, huh? He's like, yo, this is exactly what I want. This is what I need. This is, you know, this has emotion. It's storytelling. It's a whole different thing. I'm like, yeah, man. Welcome to FPV, my friend. So, Right 9 says backgrounder. Nope. DJ Pulse. His name is actually, he's not a DJ. His last name is Pulse. And his first name is DJ. And it's funny, like when I first started talking to him on Instagram, I was like, so where do you DJ? And he's like, yeah, everybody says that. DJ is just my first name, and Pulse just happens to be my last name. It's spelled a little bit different, but like, yeah, DJ Pulse. But super cool guy. And he's like, towards the end of the call yesterday, he's like, I hope your availability is open, man, because I got a lot of stuff that I want to work with you on. So yeah, I'm very, very, very excited. If that has to do with Pride Atlanta, even better. But it sounds like he's got like personal projects and hopefully some stuff with Warner Brothers that I can get tied in with. So yeah, send that Instagram message, send that email, reach out to people. The reason that I actually got through, I found out after the fact, the reason that you know, the cold email or Instagram message that went out actually worked is that he was in the process of looking for a drone pilot. So whoever manages that social media account knew that. saw a drone pilot messaging and sent it straight to DJ. And so yeah, like I'm not gonna say that cold calling works because I think that it doesn't, but every once in a while, if everything lines up perfectly, it can potentially work. And like, the whole like 1 minute can change the outcome of everything. Potentially happen there. I mean, at least for this event, it changed my weekend. And also Maggie came, Azalea came, and Azalea brought her friend Ethan. And they all just had an absolute blast too. So I mean, like this was a weekend that like the four of us will never forget, and it may have gotten me a whole bunch of work, and that's amazing too. So yeah, send that email, friends. Send that message. Get some of your best possible work up towards the top of your Instagram, so that when you send the message, you can drop a couple links on them. Something that I do is use the Instagram highlights, which is kind of the only way that you can save a story. So if you... What? Why did it do that? That was weird. So up here, these are your story highlights. And so when you put a story up that you want to save, at the bottom of the... I don't think you can do it on here. Yeah, you can't do it on desktop, but on your phone, at the bottom of your at the bottom of the story, I think it's a little heart icon. I don't know. There's only a couple of icons down there. One of them is to save it to a highlight, and you can set different names for each of these little groups of highlights. And then what's cool is you can just right-click the highlight. I guess you can't do it on desktop. On your phone, you can copy the link to the highlight so that when you send the message, you can then drop a link to the story highlights, and when they hit that link, it'll put them right in here. And I have this like cinematic work highlight, so this dropped DJ directly in here, and the stories do a good job like cutting it down. I think stories are only like 10 or 15 seconds, so they're gonna really quickly be able to cycle through a bunch of your best stuff. So do that, and yeah, it'll be good. And they can really, really quickly scroll through and see the best of your kind of work. Give it a shot. Curtis Hayes says, did you just bring FPV or DJI style as well? So had to be sub 250, so no DJI gear was allowed. The first day, Saturday, I did actually bring the Mavic. I don't know why, but I did. I'm probably just because I'm like trying to bring the Mavic with me more often. It was very kindly donated to me from McConnell Studios, and I don't use it much, and I feel bad because what an incredible donation. So yeah, I'm trying to bring it with me more. I didn't do anything with it. I did bring the rigs that I flew were all on DJI though, because I knew that there were going to be power lines and trees, and I just wanted to be able to see as clearly as possible. The previous gig at Atlanta Automotive, I was flying analog because I knew it was a more controlled kind of space, and it was going to be with, yeah, there could be a couple of customers walking around, but like I knew there weren't going to be like trees or power lines or stuff like that to deal with. And also the other reason was kind of out of laziness, in that I knew I was going to be flying the tiny lifters around a little bit, and they're analog, so I didn't want to pack 2 sets of goggles. But that's one of the just before a gig, when I'm trying to figure out if I'm going to bring my analog gear or my DJI gear, DJI Vista gear, I should say. The main thing that I think about is like chances for people to walk in front of me. Although you could make an argument for analog with that, because analog is lower latency, and like somebody that walks in front of you, you're going to see them no matter what. So the latency is actually more important. But the main thing is, will there be power lines? Will there be trees with potential for scraggle? If there's going to be either one of those things, I feel much more comfortable on vistas, being able to see where the hell I'm going. If there's not going to be those things, then I really prefer analog, to be honest. Like, analog is going to break up instead of just shutting off, right? It's significantly lower latency. It's lighter weight, so you'll get more runtime. It drives me insane to have a cinematic 5-inch on analog, and then a cinematic 5-inch that's missing over here on digital, and then a Cinewhoop on analog and a Cinewhoop on digital. Like, it's super annoying to have to duplicate stuff like that. But yeah, I've not, just the whole DJI black screening thing is just horrifying, and I don't know, it's really difficult for me to switch all the way over. It's also cheaper this way, right? I have tons of analog VTXs, so that's a big part of it, right? Although what I was about to say is, like, to upgrade the whole fleet to DJI would cost a fortune. I wouldn't. Like, there would be no reason to have quite this many duplicates. I would just pull rigs apart. Like, if I decided to leave analog altogether, I would just pull the analog rigs apart, because I already have, like, mains and backups. So yeah, like, what's the point? Leave them together. If I need to cannibalize them for parts, I can. Or if I have a gig that makes sense on analog, I've got that going too. But yeah, I don't know. This is a bit much. I would really prefer to have less rigs. But hey, they're built. And like, I would rather have less rigs and more backup parts, but having the backup parts tied up in rigs is, like, not the end of the world, right? It's so quick and easy to tear these things down that, like, if I completely run out of glide arms, I've got 4 more right up here and 6 screws and they're off. So, yeah, kind of interesting. All right, what are we doing? We're not finishing the Grinderino. Awesome. Mailbag. Oops. Hey. Oh, God. Newbie drone, yo. Putting their money where their mouth is and sending me a couple of production Cockroach V3 frames. Very, very cool. I haven't even had a chance to message them about the prototype frame breaking on the live stream. I don't know if Kelvin was watching the stream or if someone let them know. But yeah, I didn't, these just showed up. I did get an email yesterday with the tracking info, and I was just like, I didn't open the email. I just saw the email title, and I was like, wow, I'm really out of it. I did a newbie drone order, and I didn't even realize it. And then when the box came today and I opened it up, I was like, all right, good. I'm not losing my mind. They just kind of sent them. So yeah, we're going to be doing a little bit more Hummingbird and newbie drone Cockroach V3 durability testing this Wednesday. And I'm kind of excited about that. The Hummingbird AIO is super interesting. It's not perfect, and it's not for everybody, but I think it's for a bunch of people. I think there are a bunch of people that are really good candidates for the Hummingbird for $90 whole. Like, good Lord, is that inexpensive for something that is from a stateside company. So yeah, exciting stuff. Hopefully, well, let's see. So real quick, we're obviously going to dive way deeper into this on Wednesday, but let's take a really quick look at the I keep calling it wobbliness, but at the risk of sounding like a douchebag, let's take a look at the torsional rigidity of the production frame versus the prototype that we broke. So this is the production frame in, like, the milky white color, and that's pretty flexible. It's hard to totally tell because this has the broken duct on it, but so let's do this. Let me grab it. If I grab it in the center here, and then I just try to twist this side. Okay. Oh, it's way looser. It's way looser. Okay, and that's actually a good thing. So this frame, basically, like, once you have, like, the mold is made. This mold exists for this frame. The only thing that they can change after the mold has been made, after they send the prototypes out to get testing and whatnot, is the material that they inject into the mold. The molds cost a fortune. And so a break like this, what I was hopefully saying the other day, is that if they pour it with a material that's a little bit more flexible, it might prevent this from happening. When you get a crack like this, that potentially means that the plastic is too brittle and not soft enough. So the fact that this feels like it's a little bit more wobbly is potentially a really good thing. That is something that I don't have any floating around, but that the Meteor frames have going for them. They're very flexible, and the regular Meteor 65 frame seemed to really nail the geometry of the frame and the material that it was poured out of. And it was just a perfect mix where it would almost never crack like this, but it was also rigid enough where you could run a crazy PID tune on it and get incredible flight performance. The Meteor 65 Air is noticeably different. Since they took a bunch of plastic away, it's noticeably less rigid, so you have to pull your PIDs down significantly and add filtering. So you can't get quite as good of a tune. The tune that you can get is still pretty good, but yeah, we saw that in the testing that we've done here live. Potentially the same thing is going on here. So my guess is going to be that with this frame, it's going to be more durable, but it might not. Right now, the Hummingbird has a pretty aggressive tune. I'll be very interested to see when I put this on if I'm going to have to pull the PIDs down a little bit. If I do, hopefully I don't have to pull them down so far that I start to get prop wash and other bad flight behaviors. But you never know. I might. It'll be interesting to see. I'm looking forward to do. I almost did that. I almost wanted to do the testing tonight. Oh, damn. Okay, hold on. Oh, newbie drone. I wonder who wrote this. Hold on. So I just looked at the oh shit. Oh, I just looked at the invoice that was in the package. Here you go. I don't think there's any information on here. Oh shit. Oh, newbie drone. Oh no. Oh no. No. Don't write that. Oh my god, okay. Oh shit. That is those are big words. Damn, dude, talk about putting your money where your mouth is. Oh boy. Okay. I see how it is. All right. Challenge accepted. Damn. That's they're there with a stick just poking the bear. All right. Well, we'll see. I mean, you know, I'm not gonna bang it into anything on purpose. Like, I'm just gonna fly like I normally do, but that's funny. Oh shit. That's good stuff. I mean, if I really want, like, yeah, on the, yeah, no, I'm gonna run these both. Maybe both, maybe just one. I'm gonna run them on the Hummingbird. But what I was just thinking is maybe I should put one on the Hummingbird build and then one on the Ultimate Freestyle build, because the Ultimate Freestyle build will get hammered harder because I'll just try bigger stuff and it's got more powerful motors. It is lighter though, so it'll get a hell of a workout on the Hummingbird. But Yeah, we'll keep it on the Hummingbird. Also, because I don't want to take the Ultimate build apart again. I just put it back together and I put it back into a Meteor 65 airframe. And like, you know, the motors on that build have now been like screwed down and unscrewed from frames deep into the double digits, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 times, and eventually those motors are going to strip. So yeah, I'm not going to pull that apart again. The Hummingbird motors have not been swapped back and forth nearly as many times. I did just put it back together though. Although, you know what? It's in the other prototype frame, isn't it? So that's kind of perfect. Yes, awesome. Yeah, so it's in the other prototype frame. Although this frame does have a big old crack in the front. So what we'll do is we'll put this up in the air Wednesday, and at some point this frame will break, and then we'll pull it apart and we'll put it into the production frame. Maybe, I don't know. It's a prototype frame. It's obviously a different plastic. So it's almost kind of pointless to fly it in this prototype frame as it is now that I have the actual production frames. I mean, like, look, they're very obviously different. They're very obviously different plastics. They look completely different. And I mean, it's super obvious that this is a more flexible plastic. This is a little bit more rigid because it has the canopy bolted to it. So it's tough to really do this test, but like what I can try. Okay, so like if I squeeze on that, yeah, they're completely different materials. Like no questions asked. This is just pushing like here. There's no advantage to having a motor bolted or anything like that. And like, yeah, this is very obviously a more flexible plastic. So that's great. Yeah, the gauntlet has been thrown down. Oh man. Well, talk about a that Hummingbird AIO is gonna get a whooping on Wednesday. Jesus. And they've got new little foam pads for the little feet. They're no longer circles. Now they're little. Well, here, let me put one of them on and we'll show it to you. They're little triangle-y guys. So they go like that. And one thing that is interesting is that there is no... they did not send a carbon fiber brace on either one of these. I wonder if... I'm assuming that when you buy them... like, obviously they watch the stream, so they is that tall? Yeah, it is tall enough to touch the ground. Yeah, these frames have a hole drilled up in the corner. And back when I used to work at a CD warehouse, believe it or not, way back when, they used to drill their CDs that were not for resale. So I have a feeling that these are like blems or something like that. Blem meaning blemish. Or like the manufacturer forgot to put the carbon fiber brace in or something like that, so they just put them aside rather than having to open them all. So yeah, I'm assuming that when you buy the Cockroach V3, it will come with the carbon fiber brace, but these did not. To prove to you that once the mold is done, the mold is done. This is a carbon fiber brace from one of the prototypes, and of course it drops right in here. So yeah, I already have 2 of these carbon fiber braces, but I won't use those. I've talked in depth about carbon fiber braces on Tiny Whoops and how much more stress they put on the motors. So yeah, I will not be using the carbon braces for hard crashing. I don't think they're a great idea unless you don't care about swapping motors all the time. Yeah, so there's that. I love these little foam pads for the motor bases. It just when you land it and it just like goes thump and it just stops. It's just the funniest thing. Like I'm so used to when you land rigs them skeetering around, that for them not to do that is just, it takes me by surprise every time. I'm like, oh, Did I hit something? So yeah, we are going to, oh boy. They said, I bet you can't. Oh, I bet you can't. What in the world? Who would, I mean, they've seen me fly before. Strong words. I will say this, though. They've been prototype testing this frame design for a long time. So maybe they're right. Oh, you know what? I don't think these are for... I don't think these are for the... I think these little foam guys are for the carbon fiber brace. No, we'll be all right. Because on the bottom of the motors, the motor shaft does stick out a little bit. And sometimes it'll stick down far, and I don't want it to stick down so far that it touches the adhesive on the little foam piece. But I just looked on this one, and it looks like it doesn't stick down far enough. So I think we'll be okay. It'll be very obvious if we're not, because it will the motor will not want to spin properly. So yeah, come back on Wednesday for that. That's going to be an absolute blast to throw this Hummingbird around some more and see how this frame holds up. So CiottiFPV just got here. What's up, brother? Cool. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it right over here to remind myself. Hell, if I'm feeling saucy tonight after this stream or tomorrow, maybe I will swap that frame over so that we don't have to waste any time on Wednesday, and we can just dive right into it. No promises there, though. This is going to go back into the box with the prototype frames, and then... Cool. So yeah, Doobie Drone, thank you. Very cool of you for sending that out, and very foolish of you to to write that note. but brave. Foolish but brave. This is gonna go into the next round of giveaways, and cool. That's all we had for mailbag. Right 9 says challenge accepted. Cole Powers says consider taking notes before you swap the frame to confirm performance and feel and maybe PIDs. So now that it's in the prototype frame, this is one of the reasons why I like to do this stuff on the live streams. Is that I have a live recording that sits on YouTube forever of like my PIDs and the changes and all that good stuff. This thing is so, and so the Hummingbird, I flew it on the completely stock setup, and showed the PIDs, showed all that good stuff. So I technically have all that. At the moment, it's in the prototype frame, so it wouldn't really help me. Like, I would need to like put it back into the V1, V2 cockroach frame, and then notice and then swap it over. So yeah, I'm not gonna do that. So, but yeah, I all of the notes are kind of on the previous live streams. That's obviously a great idea, Cole. But yeah, that's one of the nice things about doing all this testing on the streams is that they're on the internet forever, right? 9 says, let's talk more explode. Let's go. You gotta wait till Wednesday, brother. Cole Power says, is the challenge to break the frame or to break something else in the frame? If you wreck a motor, you lose. Sounds like the challenge is to break the frame. Regardless of what breaks, it's all testing, right? And it's companies that... It's interesting to see there are FPV companies who, when you break their stuff, they take it very personally and they blame you as the pilot and like, yeah. And then there's companies that are like, nah, man, break our shit, but then just tell us what broke so that we can improve it. And that needs to be the attitude, right? In order for somebody's stuff to get better. And that is very obviously recently been Weebleed's attitude and Newbie Drone's attitude. And we need more of that. There's sadly not much of that in the FPV world. And that's unfortunate. Like, ego really gets in the way of some of this stuff. And like, I get it. We all get it. Like, we've all had, egocentric moments where we can't get over ourselves. But, you know, if you put a whole bunch of work in, you can kind of destroy that a little bit and start to be more open-minded and care more about making good stuff rather than looking good, for example. So, yeah. Curtis Hayes says, there's my G-Doc too. What's that mean? What? Right. Curtis made a Google Doc where he put... how can I get the... how can he get... Oh, that's interesting. Curtis says, today Mads Tech was talking about how he made some negative comments about G&B, if I remember correctly, and they called him unprofessional instead of how can we figure this out. Yeah, it's... Here's what I'll say. It's got to be hard for the manufacturers too. In total fairness, like the manufacturer's point of view in that scenario, I'll betcha is why the hell did this asshole go on public live stream and trash us rather than contacting us directly? To me, I don't know. Like, on one hand, sure, it doesn't take much time to send a quick email to GNB to explain the situation, but, like, I don't necessarily think that we need to do that. Like, unless there was an email exchange before the... First of all, if it's something that you buy with your own money, sorry, but no. Like, there is no reason to do that. You put the manufacturer put a product out and took your money for it, and at that point, it's on you, yo. Like you can say whatever you want. If you've got 1 million followers or 10 followers or no followers, it doesn't matter. Like, you put a product out into the world, and sorry, bro, but like that's it. You do not reserve any right to get mad when somebody talks shit about it. If it was provided, or it was a prototype product, or right, then like it becomes a little bit more of a gray area. But I still think that you don't owe it to them. Maybe, I don't know. Where I can say, like, okay, I get it, is if there is an email exchange that's like, hey, if you have anything negative to say about this, please contact us first. Okay, now you're an asshole for not contacting them first and just blasting them on a public forum. I all but guarantee you that was not the case, because Mads Tech seems like an incredibly stand-up guy. I bet you he bought it. I bet you it's something that he bought with his own money, and at that point, GNB is, in my opinion, completely in the wrong for saying something like that. As long as they did, right? There's a lot of misinformation, a lot of garbage floats around, but that's a tough situation, right? Like that's hard, because the manufacturer's trying to maintain their image. They're trying to make good stuff. Just because it's not up to someone on the internet standards, right, doesn't necessarily mean that they should get hammered for it. But, you know, I'll bet you that Mads Tech didn't say, hey, GNB makes terrible batteries, nobody should ever buy them ever again, they're awful, right? I'm sure that he said, like, here's something that I got from GNB that didn't perform up to the Tattoo R line that's $2 more. You know what I mean? Like, he's just not the type of person that would be, like, completely off the rails with what he said. So yeah, that's interesting. I'm willing to bet that GNB was in the wrong there. But you know, when emotion gets involved, it's easy to get pissy, especially when, you know, trying to make a good product. It's hard. It's tough. It's, you know, one of the many reasons that I don't really have much of an interest in trying to make products. I never have. Because I would not deal well with people reviewing it poorly and saying, yo, this Ciotti frame is awful. So yeah, kind of is what it is. Who's to blame? Who cares? Yeah, I don't know. Interesting situation there. But yeah, Curtis Hayes has a Google Doc with all kinds of really good information on the Hummingbird. Curtis, do me a favor. Shoot me a Discord message. I think we've talked on Discord before. shoot me a Discord message really quick with the link to that Google Doc so I can post it in the chat. Because I remember looking at it and being like, damn, yo, this is really cool. And either you posted it in the Toothpick and Whoop Discord channel, or I might have reposted it, but it is in there. It is in Toothpick and Whoop on my Discord, which you can get a link to from CiottiFPV.com. But I would also like to drop it in the chat here for anybody that's watching to just more easily find it. And I'm gonna throw it up in the Discord as well, again, just so that again it's easy for people to find it. I guess we haven't talked on Discord, Curtis, because I had to accept your message. So there it is. Thank you, dude, for that link. I'm gonna copy it and paste it in here, and then I'm gonna go into Toothpick and Whoop and post it in there. There you go. Awesome. And shit, I might as well show it. There you go. Hummingbird V3 Blue Jay Fix from YouTube bang. Props all the way. This is, yeah, just like, this is awesome. He really did a great job in condensing down everything that we went over in that video and just kind of breaking it all out and screenshots and all the good stuff. Really, really cool. Thank you for doing this, brother. This is amazing. So there you guys go. Awesome. Awesome stuff. Thank you, brother. Everybody go subscribe to Curtis's YouTube channel here if he has one, or else I'll attack you physically with much violence and pitchforks. Mailbag, Q&A, Atlanta Pride recap, and never finishing the Grinderino. Let's see if we can finish the Grinderino. We're not gonna. There's no way now. But we'll get some more work done. CMYK dropping the CiottiFPV.com link. Thank you, dude. Bob Noxious dropping the Discord link. Thank you, homies. All right. Wow, that's FP Avery says, I think all he said was avoid GNB batteries. I hope he didn't say that. I'm not going to get involved in this, but what I will say is that GNB makes fantastic batteries, some of the best that we've got. I have had better luck with Tattoo R-Line batteries, but they're more expensive, and in some cases, they don't make the right sized battery for you. So, yeah, GNB and Tattoo R-Line are really the best that there is. And so, yeah, if he said to avoid GNB batteries, like, just across the board, that's not right. And I would be pissed if I was GNB. If that's what he said, that changes things a little bit. Yeah, I would be kind of pissed if I was GNB, because it's just not a true statement. like on top of everything else. And I mean, yeah, but whatever. Whatever. Ah! What's happening? Is this how I die? I hope not. A little bit of purple. That's going on there for sure. Oh my god! Things are bouncing everywhere. One single M3 screw. I wonder what this is for. This is the extra stuff that I left in the Grinderino bag. I don't know why. So we've got to solder up the rest of the motors, and then we've got to get the Walksnail system slapped on here. So let's blast through the... I mean, it doesn't really matter. Let's do the Walksnail setup next. Because we already did one motor, and just, you know, doing 3 more motors is kind of monotonous. You guys don't necessarily need to... You're not going to learn anything from me doing that. I covered it all a couple of streams ago. Might have been just one stream ago. I think it was Friday, wasn't it? It feels like it's been a couple of streams because I was just exhausted yesterday. My God, my shins hurt like hell. I walked a ton, and I don't really go on walks enough. So yeah. Okay, Grinderino day number 305. What does anybody remember what I decided on which? So this is going to be a basher. I think I decided to put the V1 Walksnail in this. Yeah, I did, because I put the V2 one away. The V2 Walksnail setup is going to go onto something more cinematic. For this, that's going to get the hell beaten out of it. I'm going to keep it on the older Walksnail setup so that I'll feel less bad about smashing it into things. Which camera is this? So this is the... Alright, so I already have one of these. This is the nano-sized camera. So, okay, great. Hopefully that didn't land on the lens. Nah, we good. But this has this tiny little short cord on it, so I'm actually not going to use this one. I am going to use this one. And how wide are these front standoffs? They're pretty narrow, but these TPU camera mounts are pretty flexible, so I think I can not use this. This is the 14 to 19 millimeter adapter that a lot of these camera companies give you with your nano cameras, but I don't think I'll need to use this. So let's put this aside, and I do need to get the MIPI cable hooked up to this, although... What is this? Why is this in here? This is for the bigger... Yeah, this is for the bigger camera, so we don't need this. This cable, we need to make sure that it's going to be long enough. So, yeah, okay. Where... Okay, so it hooks up here. How... Well, let's just see. So if the camera's here... Alright, so the first thing that I'm seeing is that this... And I mean, I could probably scrounge up a longer MIPI cable, but this MIPI cable is not going to be long enough to reach the back. So here's the rear set of 25 by 25 holes. This is not going to be long enough to reach back behind the VTX. There's a chance that it can reach the side. Probably not, though. So realistically, this MIPI cable is only really long enough to hook up to the front of the Walksnail VTX, which just means that this part of the VTX where the MIPI hooks up to kind of needs to face forward with the way that I'm going to mount this thing. I don't hate that, like with it set up like that. You know, this cable is feeding out the side, which is okay. I would rather have this cable feeding out the side here than these antennas feeding out the side. But if I had a longer MIPI cable, what I might do is feed the antennas out the front here so that I can then do this with the antennas to eat up some of the cable length, and then I can just like zip tie the antennas to the rear standoffs or something like that. If I do it this way, I can just do something like that. And the 3-inch props are probably not going to be close enough to cause problems here. I mean, I don't love what I could do is like cross them over like this too. Yeah, do something like that. This isn't that much extra cable. So I mean, I could use this. This is a nice long MIPI cord that'll easily reach to the back of the damn thing. I would need to cut this piece off here. I'm assuming this is from the longer... this is from the bigger camera. Where did this come from? Hang on 1 second. Where's that other Walksnail? There it is. So here's here's all my Walksnail stuff. Let's take a look what I got in here. I've got a couple of extra UFL antennas. And you know, down the road, I might get rid of these antennas. These Caddx antennas are supposedly not all that great. Again, it is like a freestyle basher kind of rig, so I think I have 2 extra of these antennas. So I think what I should do is use this as the rig to destroy all these antennas. That would kind of make the most sense. But let's just take a look. Okay, so this is okay. So it's an extra back piece for this, the 19 by 19 camera. Kind of nice to have, but I only have one. Oh, look at that. I have another. So this is a 9 centimeter. Okay, so that's what this is. So I just have an extra one of these 9 centimeter cables, and then I've got this guy, and then I've got this guy. This is the other USB cable. Okay, so yeah, I could technically ruin this to get this MIPI cable out of it. Or maybe, hold on. So this is the HD Kit V2 that I won at Rampage. I'm assuming that they don't give you an extra. Nah, they don't give you an extra MIPI cable. I wonder how long the one that's included in here is though. Okay, so it's the longer length. Shit. It would be nice to have an extra one of these. Like, this is the last of the longer cables. Shit, I don't know what to do. I think I'm leaning towards just using the shorter cable and just putting the shit up front. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. Because if I start having MIPI cable problems, I might really need this. You know what I mean? And a bunch of us have been bugging Walksnail to put out firmware that will do clean video out, and it's starting to kind of maybe seem like they are going to do it. So that's pretty exciting. And if there's a way to get clean video output from Walksnail, then I can move away. I can sell my smart controller, I can sell all my Vistas, and I can move everything to Walksnail. And that would be pretty awesome. Everything that's on digital, I should say, I can move to Walksnail. So that would be pretty awesome. I would absolutely love that. But yeah, they need to do it first. All right, there we go. So I think I'm going to mount this like this and then just wrap these cables around. And can I wrap them twice? Nah. I guess what I'll do is wrap them out like that. And yeah, there's a little bit of cable floating around here on the outside of the frame that might get snagged, but should be all right. Cool. All right, so MIPI gonna go there. This cable here, this is like one of these wacky connectors on it. I guess I'm going to. Are there solder pads? What's the deal here? Nah, no solder pads. So I guess I need to reuse this. I'm gonna look for my own cable here. We're gonna pull up the wiring diagram. I'll look for my own cable to replace this with, because this is a perfectly good cable. I don't know what the hell this connector is here. It's a latched connector. It looks, yeah, I don't know. Looks kind of fancy. Riot9 says if you sell all that, you could get 103. Yeah, right. Oh, Christ. Okay. I keep forgetting what this is. I think this is for Vista. I know this is to let cables pass through under it. Somebody remind me again what this is for. I think it's for a Vista. Oh. Okay. So I'm going to search the information superhighway for Walksnail V1 wiring. And there we go. So it is the big plug. This is not a great picture, but because this makes it look like there's only 4 plugs on this, and there's like 6. So that's not helpful. This is what I want. Because this shows. Oh, awesome! And this is on manuals. Come on, man. What? Get the fuck out of here. Yeah, there we go. So it shows that it's the 4 that are up top here, right? All right. So this is what we want to see. This is what we want. And we've done this before, so we'll be all right. So I'm not going to cannibalize this. Put it in a little Walksnail case here. The goggle case that they give you with the Walksnail goggles is really nice. I feel bad for like using it as just a container to hold Walksnail stuff in, but better than throwing it away, I guess. All right, so let's pull this back plate real quick, and we will plug the MIPI in. And then I will dig through my little box of cables to see if I can find a cable with bare ends on it that will work for this guy. Although actually I have a stack of cables on the desk that might work. Okay, so the question is, does it go down or does it go up? Does it go short ways or lengthwise? And it goes the long way. So it's going to go like this. Okay, wow. It's so small. I was putting on there upside down. Is that it? Is that down? And I wish they had a little more of a click to them. No, that's in there. All right. Is there any foam on the back of this thing? There's not. I kind of want to put a little something here to I want the back plate to really push down on the cable. DJI and or Caddx, whoever's manufacturing the Vista, they put a little piece of foam on the inside of the backing plate for the camera to really push on the connector to really hold it down. I'm looking around to see if I have any foam that's thin enough to do that. Oh, newbie drone. Thank you. Look at this. Just gonna use one of these little guys. Yeah. Okay, so this guy is gonna go like this, and so cable lines up with like kind of the top of this thing. So I'm gonna go. Oh shit! One of those screws just fell down on my stomach. Okay, we're just gonna put this in here. They do have 2 little ridges in the plastic, which in theory that's what they're there for. But I would like to have just a little bit of extra, You know, just a little extra. That's fine. It's not perfectly centered, but nobody will ever see it. Cool. That makes me feel a little bit better. I've had weird MIPI issues in the past. So yeah. All right, let's see if I can find that screw that fell onto my shirt. Yep, I got it. And there it is. All right. So, backing plate going on. Yep, and that foam is working. It's the backing plate is sitting up a little bit. I got 2 screws in, not super tight. So yeah, that foam is just the right thickness. Just barely thick enough, it looks like. All right, cool. So the camera is MIPI'd up. It's a verb now. And good. So that's going to sit there. This will easily reach, and there's enough cable for it to probably go up and over. All right. What I need is cable, which, let's just get this figured out here. So it sits there. This is not the right cable. According to the wiring diagram that's on the computer, this is not the right cable for this. I don't know what this cable's for, but this has the power and the ground on the complete opposite side from that, which is weird. Okay, so this is just a cable. How many pins are in this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I just need a 6 pot cable here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's not the one. That one's got 8 as well. That one's got 8 as well. Ooh, is this it? Is this a 6? Oh god, this is the exact same cable as this. Okay. Let's see if it's wired the same or differently. It's wired backwards. It's wired the right way, actually. Okay. Interesting. Oh man, this is the perfect cable, but it's got this cool latched plug on this side of it. And like eventually this is going to plug into something. But I do have this one. So maybe I'll just sacrifice this one. Do I have any other 6-port plugs that are just like sitting right here waiting to be used? That's another 8. I'm sure in my little box I have one, but this is another 8. All right, screw it. No, we're gonna sacrifice this one. We're gonna chop this one up because it's got the, if possible, don't remove the plugs from these because it just weakens up the little latches, and yeah, you don't want that. These the service life on these JST plugs is very, very low. And if you start removing the plugs and swapping them around, it makes that even worse. So if possible, don't do it. A lot of times you have to. A lot of times there's no real option there. But sometimes there is. So, all right. This fella is going to be plugged in here. And it's going to be off on the side, either top or bottom. I haven't really thought about that yet, but it doesn't really matter. It's going to run up, and then let's see where it needs to hook up to on this guy. Oh, nice. Right in the back here. I've got my UARTs in the back, and I've got VBAT. Excellent. Okay, cool. So that guy is going to live there. So these guys just have to go up like that. So what I can do, I can actually kind of salvage this plug by only cutting this guy in half, and that'll give some length here. So that's pretty cool. All right. We will just have this little cable here. Oh God, it hurts to do this. I have a whole bunch of these that are just one-sided. It's just a connector and a bunch of wire. So I always try to use those. I try not to cut these pre-made ones down, but hey, I don't know what that plug is, so that probably means it's not all that popular. And now, hopefully, I didn't cut it too short. Nah, we should be good. Looks like that's just about right. So upside down, or I mean, I don't really know if there is an upside down on this VTX per se. Bunch of fins. I guess technically this side is a little bit flatter, so it would slam down lower to the carbon, and then that puts the bind button in the upward direction, a little bit easier to get to. Although I think I just found a problem. I think the UFLs are hitting the rear standoffs. Man, if they aren't hitting, they are damn close. Can I get a little bit more angle on these UFLs? I cannot. They are already... Well, shit. What if I go outside? Can I go outside? Oh, yeah. That's the ticket. There's more clearance putting them on. No, there's not. It's the same exact amount of clearance putting them on the outside there. Oh, balls. Did I fart this all up? Put them on the inside. Oh, well, all right, I'm going to put them on the inside. Hopefully there's no weird grounding issues with these UFLs. Yeah, see, this is why I named the stream Never Finishing the Grinderino, because like stuff like this always seems to happen that don't have anything to do with building the actual rig. I absolutely have to put shrink wrap on these UFLs because they're going to be butted right up against the those rear standoffs. And I might, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to change the rear standoffs. So they use these big, thick rear standoffs here. Hopefully this is a standard height of standoff, and I'm going to put a skinnier one on, and that'll give me like a 1/2 mil, which is kind of all I need, I think. But I am not just going to let this go metal on aluminum. I am going to prep these UFLs here. I don't know. I was about to say, like, it's okay, though, that it takes a while to finish this, because right now, like what we're doing, this is the important stuff. Like, just bolting a build together and soldering another set of motors on, or soldering up the Walksnail. Like, you guys don't need to know how to do that. Like that, anybody can give you that. All these little things, these are what take a good rig and make it into a great rig, or take a rig that, you know, is okay to fly for fun, and now you can build a rig that's okay to fly professionally. So I don't feel too bad about these builds dragging on, because these pain in the ass things that happen are the things that that really do make a difference, in my opinion. So Denzel just broke his desk chair. But Ertzen says, does Walksnail actually use 6 wires even though it doesn't have a control link like DJI? I don't know. On the wiring diagram, it only really shows 4 wires. I have no idea what the extra 2 wires are. Anybody in chat know? It's a good question. I didn't even think of that. The 4 wires we're going to use are power, ground, UART TX, and UART RX, obviously. But yeah, I have no idea what the extra 2 wires are. Yeah, I wonder if they're just... Well, no, I was going to say, I wonder if they're just using the same plug, but Vistas don't use a plug. So why do they have the 2 extra wires? What do they... Oh, I bugged this up. When you're shrink wrapping on top of these UFLs, you got to make sure you don't get the shrink wrap too far up onto the UFL plug, and I just did. Should just be able to use my fingernail to pull it down a little bit, though. Oh, for Christ's sake. I might just cut it off and do it again. I have an extra little piece of shrimp wrap there. Nah, we good. I got it pulled down just enough. There we go. Yeah, we're fine. Okay. So there's one. Here's the other. And all I'm doing is just cutting a nice short piece of shrink wrap that is just ever so slightly too small to fit over the head of the UFL. And then I'm just using these needle nose pliers here to stretch it out a little bit so that it will clear the head of the UFL. And then that way, when you shrink it down, it'll shrink down nice and tight on the wire. The wire is a lot thinner than the head of the UFL. If you use shrimp wrap that is big enough to clear the UFL, it's not going to clamp down as hard as you want it to on the much thinner wire. So don't do that. Or else. All right, let's check this one. Yeah, I got this one perfect. All right, cool. So both UFLs are prepped. We're going to put them right back onto the VTX. And come on. Get on there. There we go. Okay, cool. The other thing this is going to do is it's going to make any so this uses this silver bar to hold the UFLs down. The thickness of the shrink wrap is actually going to put more pressure on these to really hold them down. It might make that little metal bar bow up a little bit, but that's okay. All right, there we go. And all right, good deal. So now this is going to go back on. Guess it goes that, yeah, it goes that way. This little metal bar guy and these tiny little screws is something that they very thankfully improved on the V2 Avatar. Okay, we're gonna do the outside first. Man, I'm shaky as shit. I must be hungry. I guess I am hungry. Megan and I went to Aldi today, did our grocery shopping. That was, we usually go to Kroger, but every once in a while I convince her to go to Aldi. I love Aldi. It's got a lot of the same, it's got a lot of the same stuff that I used to get from Trader Joe's. We don't really have a Trader Joe's that's nearby here, which is nice. Always spend less money at Aldi for getting like the same stuff as you would at a regular supermarket. It's cool. You buy like kind of no-name stuff, but it's actually really good. There's a lot of the stuff from Trader Joe's and Aldi that I like better than the name brand stuff. Also tends to be healthier. It'll have like a lot less sodium in it and sugar and shit like that. Probably one of the ways they make it less expensive. Sugar is Pricey. Okay. Antennas are prepped. That's going to be much more durable on these UFLs. Let's really quickly check the length of these rear standoffs. Hopefully they're a standard length and I can swap them out, which I kind of hate to do. It is really cool that they had some, not custom, but like sort of custom thicker standoffs. The rear end is not going to take that much abuse though. It would be I'm going to leave the ones in the front. That's where most of the anger is going to happen. So let's see if it's not. It's a specific length. God damn it, dude. So these are 20s here, and it's noticeably shorter than a 20. So my guess is it's an 18. This is one of the problems with doing a split base plate design, is a lot of times you have to have custom standoffs made. It's either 18 or it's 19, and now these 15s are going to be way too short. Yeah, this is way too short. Fuck. Well, so easy guys, easy. The rear end jokes. These are what, 22? These aren't going to help. Those are going in the wrong direction. This is a 15. Shit sticks. What we could do is just run 20s in the rear, and the top plate will bend a little bit. I've done that on most of my glides. The front standoffs are 1 millimeter longer, and the top plate just bends up, and I haven't broken a top plate from that. So in this rig, the top plate mounts to these, and then it's all the way back here. So this entire run would give this top plate plenty of room to just bend up. I mean, it's kind of already doing it. If you look, there's a gap above in the rear here. So it's already kind of doing that. I think that might be what I need to do. I wish that instead of being a little bit shorter, these guys were a little bit longer, because then I could run a shorter, skinnier standoff and then just put a washer on it. But this is, and I guess I could do that with these 15s, but I would have to run a bunch of washers because these 15s are like way too short. I would have to run like 3 mil of washer here. See how much shorter the 15s are, right? I'd have to run like a big, and when I have them, I have 2 and 3 millimeter standoffs here. I wonder if that's what I should do. Nah, I'm going to use these 20s. I think they're only 1 millimeter longer. And so, yeah, that top plate all. I mean, technically, oh no, and then see the fronts are extra long because they are, because of the split base plate design. Yeah, so I don't, so the fronts that I have, these are 23s. These are a little bit too short. I think the fronts are 24s. This is now a 25. Oh no, the fronts are 25. Oh yeah, it doesn't help me. I would need to, so then I would need like a 26 in the front or a 27 in the front. I don't have that. They go all the way up to 28. Okay, yeah, we're just gonna let the top plate bend by 1 mil. See, look how it's almost nothing. And like I said, I've done this before, so this is going to be fine. These are also hex 20 mil standoffs, and that'll give me even more room for the glip glops. So yeah, this is going to be fine for the antennas. For the antennas. Okay. For the record, that's me kindly referencing Nick Burns. I absolutely love Nick. But he does say antenna in a very confusing way to me. I guess it's just a Western way. It's not confusing. It's just he lives in a different part of the country. All right, so this is what we're going to do. And it'll be totally fine. The top plate is incredibly thick on this thing too, so it's we gonna be alright. We gonna be just fine, and we can get a little bit more color into this thing. All right, here we go. So let me get these rear standoffs pointing in the perfect direction while I'm thinking about it here. Oh yeah, that's gonna be, well, that one's already perfect. Okay, they're both just magically, well, no. I guess that one could turn just a little bit here. All right, that one's perfect. And now this one. I'm gonna spin this one around just to get it a little closer. There we go. Awesome. All right, that is now good, and I'll bet you I have more clearance than I did before. Nope, I have less. But I still think that I will have enough. So which way do I mount this VTX? Lumpy side up or lumpy side down? I think lumpy side down. Yeah, lump side up so that the bind button is high. I think I'm just going to pull this damn thing down to the base plate, and I'm going to put a little bit of heat transfer tape on it. So on Amazon, you can get this double-sided heat transfer tape. You might recognize this. TBS used to give you a little square of this with their VTXs. And I would hoard the stuff. It's not actually blue, it's white, but the wax, whatever, that they put on it is blue. So yeah, this will allow the VTX to dump some of its heat into the carbon fiber, and the carbon fiber is actually a good little heat sink. So yeah, we are going to do that. So this thing is going to sit like this, and we're going to use the 25 by 25 holes. So if I look at the bottom, I'm going to put a strip there, and then looks like I can fit another strip here. Yeah, cool. Awesome. All right. So let me measure this up real quick. And there's the end of the fin. And will that leave a little dent there, I wonder? Yeah, whatever. Just come in here and do this. Okay. All right, so let's cut this. This stuff is interesting. It's got like a fibrousness to it. It's, I don't know, kind of neat. All right, so let's put this on here like that. All right. Good to go. And now we'll do another little piece here. Elmo Hawk says, so it's not going to unglue like normal sticky tape when warming up. I've been using this stuff for a while now, and I have had no problems with it whatsoever. Also, this is going to be um, held down. This is going to be pulled down to the carbon fiber, so there's nowhere for this stuff to go. Like it's on here. It's going to be on there forever. You should be using VHB though, Elmo. VHB will not unglue. It seems to glue harder when it gets hot. Okay, so we've got our heat transfer. Oh, get back! Come on! Why is everything falling? Come on now. Here we go. Okay. So second piece is on. And there's a little... What? Oh, there's a screw missing. Oh, man. And it's a screw missing right on the damn MIPI connector. Oh, balls. Also, I need to cut the corner of this off to clear the mounting hole. So let's just do that real quick here. Okay, got it. I'm probably gonna swap these screws around. I think what I'm actually gonna do is take the center screw out of this, and I'm gonna move it to the other side with the MIPI, because these outer screws are gonna pull down just fine on here. Yeah, so we'll be good. Let's get this. And I think I'm just gonna pull this thing down. So let me get the camera MIPI on here before I forget, and put this the rest of the way together. I think I'm just gonna mount this damn thing, and then I can just pull this off and solder it up, and I gotta pull a couple of wires out of it. But yeah, let's just mount this VTX, and then that will be pretty much good to go. Okay. Sometimes these MIPIs do give you a little snap. And in this case it did, which is nice. I'm just double checking it. This bar is just kind of above it. I wonder if it can... Man, I wish I had another piece of really thin foam for this, but it's... I think it's too thick for the foam that I was using. This is also... Well, let me do this. I'm going to just trim a tiny little strip from the top of this, and I'm going to use that just in the middle, just for a little something something to hold that MIPI down a little bit more securely. Okay. Man, newbie drone shit coming in super handy tonight. Holy cow. All right, so I'm just gonna drop this down as an extra little bit of MIPI love to make sure that this doesn't come unplugged when I don't want it to. Because I've had that experience with MIPIs. They're usually good, but every once in a while they will act the fool and pop off when you don't want them to. Alright, cool. So the only pain in the ass is I can't just keep rotating this thing back and forth anymore. I gotta actually pull this screw and then plop this thing down, but I mean, whatever. That'll take one extra second. There we go. So now I gotta just go like that, and then put this screw back in. Oh, these little screws suck. All right, let's get it on the head. Stop it! Get on there and stay there. Thank you. Okay, here we go. Please. Ah, yes. All right. Got the one. Let's get the other. These are like M.8 or something like that screws. These are absurdly small. Thank God they moved away from this. Yes, there we go. Okay. Perfect. That bar still sits nice and flat, and now we've got a little bit more, a lot more actually, tension on that MIPI cable. Rad. Okay, so let's get some screws for this thing. We're gonna run screws up through the bottom, and then I'm just gonna throw nuts on the top, and that's it. I'm just gonna pull this thing right into the base plate. That's what's gonna allow that heat transfer tape to actually work, and it's just gonna give us acres of space. I'll put the ELRS module right on top of it, and away we will go. Holy crap! It's 11:58. We're gonna keep going for a little bit here. Screws. Wait. This comes with it. Are these exactly the right length? That would be pretty cool. This comes with the kit. Let's see. I would think that they would be too long, but I mean, they're like a millimeter too long, but I don't care because they're right here, and I can handle that. That'll give me an excuse to put a nylock nut on top. So now's the real sort of moment of truth: is will this other screw go in? And it will. So there is clearance between the UFLs and these standoffs, albeit not a whole hell of a lot, but it's there. So yeah, we'll wrap these. Oh, I know what I'll do. I'll wrap them, and then we'll zip tie them on the outside like that, and that way there's really not much extra cable on the back. See what I mean? Yeah. So we'll do that. So that's what the rear end will look like, tied up in a little knot. You guys can't see. Hold on. I'll show it to you once it's done. Awesome. All right, this worked great. Okay, so the screws are long enough. Let's pull the paper off that double-sided heat transfer tape, and we'll throw a couple nylock nuts, and this thing will be mounted. Come on now. Come out of there. There's one. Come on. There it is. Sweet. All right. I'm going to leave these in, and I'm going to put this thing down on the desk because those will help me align it so that it gets, because, you know, this is going to be sticky now. So let's just struggle with getting the backing off, as we always do. There we go. See, it's white. And come on, get out of there. Oh, shit, now I got a wrinkle in it. Let's try this side. Ah, there we go. Perfect. All right, and so those just came out. All right, and that one. So push the screws all the way in. Might as well throw one more. Just to be sure. It's all the way lined up. All right, perfect. So now it's all the way lined up, and we're just going to push it straight down. Rad. Man, that fits in there. And so now we can throw the fourth one. And I do need to get the thing of screws out because I don't think I have any nylock nuts out here, do I? Nope. All right. Nylock nuts coming up. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Although, hold on. These aren't quite the same color. Come on, give me 4 that are the same color, for God's sakes. There we go. These 4 are the same color. Ah! Bong! All right. Yeah, there's going to be a bunch of this screw poking through. This is going to drive me nuts, but I'll get over it. Okay. All right. So now we take our amazing little Weehaw nut driver and our MIP 1.5. We'll crank these bastards down. Although I think the nut might... Yeah, so the nut is hitting the cooling vanes on this thing. So what we actually need to do to get this tightened down is grab this and then spin the yeah, that's a stupid design. Not the end of the world though. All right, cool. There's one. I might as well just do this method on all of them. Okay. Get it lined up with the cooling fins. I guess you could argue that this holds the nut for the cooling fins, kind of hold the nut for you. But I'd be concerned about bending the cooling fins, because I'm assuming the case is made out of aluminum. We don't need to crank these down or anything like that. The double-sided heat transfer tape, yeah, there's no like requirement to tighten it way down or anything like that. These back ones, no, they don't. I was about to say they seem to have more clearance, but they really don't. So let's do the same thing. Get this kind of off to the side here. I can pull this the rest of the way down. Now let's see. Does the little cooling? Yeah, it does. No, it just pushes itself away. I was trying to see if the cooling fin would in fact hold the nut, but it doesn't at first. Let's see if it now. Yeah, you wouldn't want to do that. You got to do this with. Yeah, wow. They did not have somebody build a bunch of rigs with these VTXs before they put them out, because this is a pretty silly way of formatting the top of this board. But not the end of the world. The V2s are much better in terms of how they mount, especially with the fact that they give you the 20x20 mounting option. Whoa. All right, last one here. Let's get it cranked and make sure the nut is lined up with the fins. And there we go. And, you know, these are nylocks, so they're not really going to back off as long as they're fresh-ish nylocks. And I can see that they're already starting to kind of want to spin and push on the fins. Strange. Strange that they would do that. Put these so close. All right. There we go, though. That's now good to go. Man, that is on there. And there you can see the heat transfer tape on the bottom. Technically, I guess... Yeah, I remember I did this before. I'm going to, at some point, come in here and do this. And cut this shit out. Because the heat transfer tape, where it's not touching carbon, is accomplishing absolutely nothing. And it's actually... It's going to hurt the situation a little bit. So, yeah, I'm going to come in here and just cut this extra heat transfer tape out so that these fins can breathe, right? Like right now, these fins are being blocked of their ability to cool anything down by the heat transfer tape. What I should have done is put the heat transfer tape down on the frame, and that would have made it easier to do what I'm doing right now. But it'll be okay. I just broke the damn tip of this X-Acto blade off. That's kind of annoying. But yeah, I'm just going to cut a bunch of this out here. Just because I want this shit to stay as cool as possible. And this won't take very long. Christ, I'm almost done with it already. Wrong tool, yo, wrong tool. There we go. And yeah. Interesting stuff, this heat transfer tape. There's these like fibers in it, man. It's I don't know. This kind of looks like fiberglass. Like it's got like a weave to it. It's interesting. So yeah, that'll also make it... I hate having like adhesive sticking out because then it attracts all kinds of dirt and shit. So this will also help with that. Iric Gretboy Toffs with a $26.60 super chat. Bro, thank you. He says, hey brother, been a while. Nice to hang out with you even for a minute. You as well, my man. I miss our Wednesday hang sessions with Joshua. That was... Or no, it was a Tuesday? It was Tuesday. Maybe it was Wednesday. I think it was Wednesday. Yeah, I missed those. We got some good shit done too, man. We got Joshua's website looking awesome. It still looks awesome. But yeah, that was fun. Every Wednesday getting to hang with the fellas. It was cool to like all work on the same thing together. I really enjoyed that. I really did. Maybe we'll get... the plan is to do it again someday. Joshua basically said like, hey, you know, we've got the website into a place where it's good to go for a while. It's current. It's up to date. We'll come back to it when it's not up to date anymore and keep it up to date. So yeah, and I mean that might be coming up soon. I mean it's been a while. Although I don't know. I haven't really seen anything mind blowing that's come out recently. So. Try not to cut downwards like this because I'm kind of cutting towards myself and that shit creeps me the F out. Okay, that should be enough. There we go. Yep. All right. I'll just do those two main sections. I won't do the little side bits because they're looking a little hard to get in too. But here is what I'm talking about, friendos. There. So now those fins can actually cool it down. You know what I mean? rather than having the heat transfer tape on top. Maybe if I lose my mind, I'll do the little V-shaped cutouts as well, but I just wanted to get those main ones cut out. Cool. I would suggest that you do the same if you're gonna use a heat transfer tape on there. It was Wednesday. I thought so. What's new, Grep boy? What you got cooking? Anything fun? Anything crazy? Oh, and the what I wanted to show you guys is the way that I'm going to run these antenna wires to eat up the extra length, and it's just going to be like this. Nice little pretzel in there. See that? Wrap them up because they exit around the inside there. See that down there? Focus, you dirty hoe. There they go. You know, I got all this extra cable length. So, let's wrap them up. They'll be fine. About to move to Tennessee. Wow, very cool. Very, very cool. Yeah, this thing's coming right along, man. I'm not going to put them on the outside. I'm not going to... Oh, shit. Sorry, guys. I'm not going to put them on the outside. Denzel the Terrible says, does heat transfer tape work better than airflow? Seems like you're just blocking up the heat sink with more material. I don't know. I've never tested it with and without it, but what the heat... I mean, it's going to have a bunch of airflow on the top, and it'll still have the airflow here and here. What the transfer tape is going to do is it's going to dump heat into this carbon. So it'll actually heat up this entire rear area of carbon, and then it'll get airflow. So, yeah, I mean, I assume that it works. I assumed that TBS would not have... So TBS VTXs run really hot. They always have. I think it's one of the reasons why they don't last very long before they lose a lot of power. So, yeah, I've always just sort of assumed that TBS tested that and included it out of necessity, not just like kind of for funsies. But I could totally be wrong. I am going to keep these on the inside, so there is going to be a little bit of wire hanging out here, but should be okay. Is there a better way for me to mount these goddamn things? Don't I have little... I do have these little 45-degree TPU jib jabs, but I think, yeah, this is too skinny for those. So I could put like a piece of shrimp wrap on here, but then I would have to take it all apart. And so if I did these guys, so these little things are kind of great. I could put them on the inside. You know, I guess I would put it on the outside. So, ouch. That's right. These are hard to get over these hex standoffs, but once you get them, they're really on there. Okay, yeah, so I could do that, and then... Oh, yeah, that would be nice. Ooh, that would be killer. And I mean, it is some extra weight, but I could not run it on the inside. It will not, two of them will not work on the inside. So I'd have to run it on the outside. And unfortunately, no, that wouldn't get too close. No, it would be fine on the outside. I might do that. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to take this back off, and I'm going to have to pull these UFLs off. I'm going to have to put some shrink wrap on here. But yeah, I think I'm going to do that because the antennas are going to take a hell of a beating. And if they're just zip tied on, FPV Flyer with a $10 super chat, he says, love the opening footage. Cheers. Thank you, brother. There's a little bit more coming in a second. So just hang on. Just hang on. No, I'm just going to zip tie him. I'm just going to zip tie him like this. It'll be fine. If down the road it causes problems, I'll do something a little bit more permanent. Matter of fact, I'm going to zip tie him right now. Just so that you can see what the hell I'm doing. It'll be fine. Okay, so Yeah. Okay. So we're going to go under and then over. With these zip ties, if you do it right, you can create almost a perfect 45-degree angle. But you need to go under and then over. I don't really know how to explain that, but you're going to figure it out, I promise. It's not rocket surgery or brain science. Ah, shit. Make sure you get it around the plastic tube, though, not the cable. And see, there you go. And then if you put the head of the zip tie on the outside here, it will it'll give the little tube a spot, right? Because the head of the zip tie forms a 90-degree angle, and then the rest of it bends. So yeah, if you get it just right, it's kind of perfect. And then I pull it tight by hand, and then I go for one extra click with the pliers, and that's usually just enough where you're not pre-stretching it to the point where you're weakening it, but it's keeping it tight enough that it's not going to go anywhere. And yeah, there we go. Because you want there to be some grip, like you want because the antenna is eventually going to get pulled like this, so you want there to be a good grip on the between the wire and the standoff, so that if it pulls the cable, not the UFL. But the way that we have this UFL set up, where it loops around like this, I can't imagine that it would ever pull hard enough on the UFL. But I've been wrong before. Okay, just keep kind of checking this to make sure I'm not pinching this cable or anything weird. All right, I want to slide this zip tie up a little bit. There we go. Awesome. So that's as tight as I can get it by hand. Pliers, one extra click, and we are golden. There it is, friends. The Walksnail is mounted. The antennas are mounted. I'm going to rotate the antennas out a little bit. They're going to get pushed on by the top plate a little bit, though, more than likely. Yeah, that's looking good. Cool. So at this point, all we need to do is solder the... I need to pull two of these. Do that right now. It'll take like 1 second to do this. So pull two of these cables out of this little plug header here. Anybody figure out if Walksnail uses these two extra jibbo jabbos? It's a good question by, I want to say, Metal Dirt Skin earlier. DJI used to use these extra two cables for their transmitter link, but Walksnail does not have that transmitter link. I never even thought about that. I should have removed these before I cut the cable. That was a little tiny mistake. So yeah, all we need to do is solder this up to the flight controller, and then just like VHB some stuff down, and then that's pretty much it. This will just plug into the Walksnail. It'll get soldered up to these back pads here. We've got to stick the... Oh, I guess I have to do the motors too. I got to get the ESC to flight controller plugs figured out. And then 3 more motors, and just bolt everything together. All the stuff is looking like it's the right length, and yeah, plenty of extra cable here on the camera. Get that wired up. Final assembly, and the Walksnail Grinderino is ready to go. Is ready to get smashed. I can already kind of tell that this top plate's going to be fine. Yeah. It's just going to pull down a little bit here. Yeah, it's completely fine with the 1 mil longer standoffs in the rear. You can really see it like here when you don't press. So there's a second set of standoffs here, and there's a tiny little gap here. But as soon as I press down a little bit, even just with like a little bit of pressure, the top plate hits that standoff. So between this standoff and this standoff, the top plate, technically it has to make a little bit of an S shape, but really it's just bending up a little bit, and then the screws are just going to dig into the carbon a little bit here. Like I said earlier, I've done that a bunch. I've mismatched spacers by 1 millimeter, and it's always been completely fine. So yeah, I'm not worried at all about this setup. All right, friends. Thank you for hanging. Very cool of you. Thank you for the super generous donations tonight. I'm going to give you a little bit more. I think, yeah, I can just hit play on the Pride footage. I just hit stop. So, yeah, you guys can get another minute or two of the Atlanta 2023 Pride Parade footage through the eyes of a sub 250 gram Cinewhoop with a Hero 10 cropped square because I'm cropping it for Instagram, but don't hold that against me. Thank you, friends. I'll see you Wednesday. We're going to do some torture testing of the Hummingbird V3 and the Cockroach V3 frame. That'll be super fun. I'm looking forward to that. Cole Power says VTX seems kind of fat for the quad. Yeah, it's hanging out a little bit. You can see it from the bottom. Oh, maybe not. No, it's not really hanging out. Look, it's perfect. It's actually, oh my god, it's like exactly the right. I'll bet you that Tommy sized the rear of the. So this is like the widest of the VTXs, I think. And I bet you Tommy sized the rear of the quad perfectly for this VTX. It looks fat because the 20x20 stack is in front of it. All right, people, be good. I will see you on Wednesday. Hold on, let me find a little copyright-free jam. What the hell's Chrome? There it is. What we got here? Dylan sits home early. Nah, ain't gonna work. Nah, that's a bit much. No. No. As close as we're gonna get. Be good, my friends. Love ya. Loiter. The hell just happened? Epidemic Sound's website just crashed on Chrome. That was weird. Come on. I gotta find a fucking song again. Come on now. Yeah, this'll work though. Later, guys. See you Wednesday.